So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hiban. All right, Rockstar Nation, I have a special show for you today. It is the Wednesday news show. I got a news show that I've put together just for you based on very, very timely news for today. Yes, today. So we're going to try out this format. If you guys like it, we will continue it because there's so much happening with real estate news, real estate brokerages, things changing in the industry, that I thought a short news program every single Wednesday would serve the Rockstar Nation the best. Of course, Monday and Fridays will be our regular shows, and I'm calling this State of the Market. Hope you enjoy it, and let us know what you think. Send us an email to info@rebusuniversity.com, or simply go onto Facebook and go to Next Level Agents. If you're not a member, please join, or just go to Real Estate Rockstars with Pat Hiban. There's another one out there now. So go to Real Estate Rockstars with Pat Hiban and join that too. Give us a comment. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, Rockstar Nation. Thanks for tuning into the State of the Market podcast with your host, Pat Hiban and Kevin Kauffman.
All right, welcome everybody. This is going to be some fun stuff. My name is Pat Hiban.
Pat, how's it going, man? I'm Kevin Kauffman, obviously, and super excited to be here with you, buddy.
Yep, and you guys are listening and watching State of the Market, which is your new source for real estate news. And we're excited. This is the first show we are doing of many. If you guys like this, we're going to make it a regular thing. And we think that there is definitely a deficit in the industry now for real estate news in an audible and video format. And so much of the world is going to that. So we are your online live newspaper, essentially, when it comes to all things real estate. So, Kevin, how's it going today? What's going on in sunny Arizona?
Doing good, man. I got to tell you, it's beautiful here. It's a little chilly, but got lots of sunshine, and I can't complain. I cannot complain. It's doing good out here.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk news, buddy. Let's talk news. What's happening in the news today? Real estate. What do we need to be concerned?
Let's talk about the Facebook post heard around the real estate world, which was Nick Bailey stepping down as the Century 21 CEO and president. This one stuck out to me personally because I got to know Nick a little bit back in 2012 when he had left RE/MAX and was sort of looking for his next venture, if you will. He had spent, I want to say 10, 11, maybe even 12 years at RE/MAX in different regional and VP roles. And I, at the time, was a regional director at Keller Williams and based in Denver, Colorado area. And Nick's from Lone Tree. And so we got to know each other a little bit. I know he had some conversations with different folks at KWRI. And so I reached out and we had a couple cups of coffee. Really good guy, very sharp guy. You know, he ended up, I know, going to work for Market Leader, which was then acquired by Zillow. And he had a nice career at Zillow. And about 18 months ago, he took this job as the CEO and president of Century 21, which I thought was peculiar. You know, Century 21 doesn't bring the thought of freshness in a guy like Nick when you think of the Century 21 brand, but he's a sharp guy, so I just assumed he knew something I didn't. And then, so yesterday when he posted on Facebook that he was stepping down, I was surprised.
Yeah, that was interesting. First of all, he goes from Colorado to New Jersey, brings his whole family there, and then probably got to New Jersey and it just rained too freaking much, Not to mention, it was an uphill battle a little bit for him, but he transformed their brand. I mean, he did a major job. I mean, if you look on Facebook, you know, he has an outpouring of people that are like, we love you. You know, we're so sad. You changed Century 21 so much. We were so old fashioned and now we're hip. And thank you. And, you know, I couldn't help myself. I was gonna, and I sometimes late night, I do this stuff, truth be told. But I didn't. I was gonna post on stuff. I was gonna post there. Honestly, Kevin, I was gonna post. Good luck at Remax.
Yeah, I think
Colorado, and he's not saying what he's doing, and I couldn't help myself. I just want to say good luck at Remax because everybody knows he's going to Remax. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that seems to be the consensus now. I haven't heard anything at all that confirms it, but I've certainly read different reports already out this morning that he is indeed on his way to Remax. We know that they've had their share of turmoil in the CEO spot with the situation with Lineker and his co-CEO Adam. His last name escapes me right now. So who knows? Maybe that is where he's headed to next. I got to tell you though, man, that's still shocking though. No matter how you look at it, I can see why he'd want to do that, but coming from a major company like Realogy, I'm surprised that there's not some sort of non-compete. You know, if he does end up at Remax, I'm curious as to what transpired there.
Yeah, you know, right. You figured he'd have contracts and everything. And you know, part of me too, like if he was like an employee, I was looking to hire him for a company I had, I would be a little concerned about his ADD. You know, I mean, Christ, he's been at like 4 different companies, jumping around a lot. But it's funny. So what's happening at Remax, or what happened at Remax, as you know, Lineker gave the dude's name is Adam Contos. So the CEO, right at the time, this guy Adam Contos, for some reason, right? If you're a CEO of Remax, right? Why? And you guys own a mortgage company, Motto Mortgage, right? You own a freaking mortgage company. Why not? You can buy a house. Why don't you just get up? You own a mortgage company. Why can't you, lead by example, right? Use the fucking mortgage company that you own. So anyways, the dude goes out and gets a personal loan from Dave Lineker, right? For whatever reason. Maybe he had his reasons. I don't know. $2.5 million, right? Then next thing you know, it's an ethics violation, which in my mind it really shouldn't have been because it was a personal loan. He didn't use Remax's money, right? It was just Lineker's pocket money, right? So he's like, here you go, take this. But anyways, so both of them stepped down. Then over time, they let the dust settle. Stock levels off, goes back up. And now, recently, I think as recent as a week ago, Adam Contos is stepping back into the picture as a member of the board of directors. He's chairman. He's basically a member of the board of directors of Motto Mortgage and the Remax umbrella, basically. So now he's back in, which is fine. So he's probably back in, and I guess, did they ever replace him?
I don't really know what went down. I mean, if I remember correctly, Adam and Dave were like this co-CEO, and I think we've now seen a track record in real estate that co-CEOs don't maybe work out so well.
And what are you referring to, the Keller Williams thing?
How many companies? I think there's a reason why most companies have one CEO. I say that as somebody who co-owns and truthfully co-runs a business with somebody, but I know that it's not normal the way our business relationship works. And I can only imagine when you get to that level, whether it's publicly traded like Remax or privately held like a KW, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. And to have 2 different CEOs and how do you have 2 people in charge? I think somebody's
got to make decisions. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, partners are hard enough, but it's all so much easier if everybody respects one person and just is like, hey, the buck ends here. This person's gonna forge forward on it. But yeah, you're right. The co-CEO thing is too micromanagey and too. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean? It doesn't
feels
work
to me like that means there's not a clear-cut direction and there's not a clear-cut decision on, number one, who the leader is and the direction that the leader is leading. That's what it feels like to me.
John and Chris Heller, what happened was Gary put them both in and said, made it like a horse race, right? Like let's see who can handle the stress, right? May the best man win. It almost felt like that, right? But and then maybe not, but anyway. So it's
I don't know if we'll ever know.
Yeah, he's definitely going back.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on that. I know you will be too, and I'm sure we'll cover it again in the future. But hey, something else that you and I have been talking about going back and forth recently was this whole government shutdown. And
that's newsworthy.
Yeah,
I mean, my friends, the mortgage officers, friends in the business, and the rural loans are the ones that are getting totally screwed on that. Because that was a Mac Daddy, those rural loans. Like, people loved those rural loans. There was no money down. Mortgage insurance was chump change. I mean, it was a great loan, and it wasn't even you had to be in a farm or have to have goats on the property. You just had to be what they considered far enough away from a metropolitan or metropolitan area or something. I'm not sure what they used, but they had these zones which many agents from many places sold houses in that qualified.
Well, we do here in Phoenix. We've got them on the outskirts here in Phoenix. We do USDA loans for our clients, probably at least one a month on my team, is I would guess. And it's just part of the tough part about the shutdown. And I definitely don't. This is not a politics show by any means, but part of this thing is it's rough. If I remember correctly, it's something like after any loan application submitted after the 21st of December. For a USD loan it's not getting approved. So you've got these buyers out there. I mean, imagine that. It's already a slower time of year for real estate, right, in most markets. And now we're taking a whole segment of buyers, like we're just saying you can't complete a transaction. So now that's like artificially extending things because of the shutdown. Man, that kind of sucks. I feel bad mostly for the buyers and the sellers. But gosh, the agents and the lenders too involved in it obviously have stuff on the line.
Yeah, because if you were planning on 100% mortgage and you don't have the cash, you're probably going to wait. And it'll come back, of course. Now, the other loans don't seem to be having effect. There was an issue with the IRS, right, doing this W-2 thing that they had to do, and they finally opened that back up, and so there were some issues originally, but luckily it was around the holiday time anyways, so the people didn't expect much action to happen at the IRS. But after a bunch of people yelled and screamed, the IRS finally opened that back up, and now they're confirming, they got to confirm a W-2 when somebody submits it to make sure it's, that's what was actually filed. So.
Amazing read for agents who want to blow their business up. 6 Steps to 7 Figures was an amazing read. Pat breaks it down into simple, actionable steps that, if taken, will almost guarantee 7-figure success in the real estate sales business. Couldn't recommend this enough. Wow, thank you for the awesome Amazon review, Garo215. Now, do you want to get your hands on this book for free and blow your business up? Here's how. Go to free6stepsbook.com. That's free, S-I-X, stepsbook.com right now. Or simply text the word PAT to 444-999. That's text PAT to 444-999, and I'll send you a free book.
Yeah, and I had heard from some of my friends and who are on the lending side of the business that there was cases where they could go ahead and approve. They could approve it without verifying the W-2 if the bank so chose to. If they chose to move forward without verification of that. So it sounds like that wasn't a total thing. It's probably more of an inconvenience than anything else. But I know it slowed some people down. So hopefully this shutdown thing, this business gets taken care of, and we can get back to like normal real estate business without all the extra obstacles thrown in. We certainly don't need those.
Yeah, Fascinating, fascinating. You know what I like is Redfin trying to do these digital closings, right? Digital mortgages, digital closings, no longer needing a title company or a lawyer's office, no longer needing a mortgage company's offices, none of that stuff, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? Digital closing, they acquired or they merged with a company called Notary or something like that.
Notarize,
right?
yeah. So they had this partnership with Notarize that really what it did is it took anybody who was using Redfin Mortgage the ability to close their home with literally 100% online, which is interesting and fascinating on so many levels. First of all, I mean, think about this. Redfin's in the mortgage space. I don't even know if everybody's aware of that. So number one, we've got that piece of it too. And now the next piece of it is now they've got this partnership with Notarize, which, not consequently, but happened to be one of the prize winners from the Housing Wire Tech 100 Awards in 2018. So they've got some momentum and got some stuff behind them. So they went and partnered with the mortgage arm of Redfin, and now people are theoretically like, let's think about it. Apply for the mortgage online, look for the house online, close online. I mean, we've been able to just contract online for a long time, and now close online. That's pretty cool. Maybe a little scary, but also pretty cool if you ask me.
I wonder at the end of the day, like, you can't help, right? You can't help but thinking this is next. So you have somebody called whatever they call it, title company agent, or the person that sits down and goes through the HUD-1, right? Right, gone, right? Face to face with you. You have someone, a mortgage officer, who sits down and explains the good faith, right? I mean, you still got some of that, but those people are gone, and it's all becoming online. And then you got looking for the house, pulling the MLS, gone. You just wonder, with electronic lock boxes, security cameras, at what point does the agent not even need to show up, right? And then it's just not. Just everything's online. There's no shaking hands at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting times. It's funny. It's totally off subject, but related. I was looking at a meme that somebody posted on my Facebook timeline yesterday, which was, go back 20 years, 1998, and it was like, don't talk to strangers on the internet. And, 2008, like, don't get in cars with strangers. And now it's literally 2018, 2019, and quite literally summon a stranger on the internet for a ride in their car, with Uber, Lyft, etc. And it's just kind of the way times are changing, right? And we've got to adapt, and real estate's no different.
No, absolutely. And now they're building these things. I saw in LA where people are so much comfortable with other people from Uber and all that, right? That you just get a bedroom. You just rent the bedroom, and you essentially live in it's an apartment complex. Don't get me wrong, it's not a house. It's an apartment complex with a bunch of bedrooms, kind of like European style, right? And there's shared bathrooms. They don't want to call it a dormitory, but it's like a really fancy freaking dormitory. And then you go downstairs, and there's shared spaces, kitchen, living room, all that stuff shared. But if you need privacy or whatever, you have your own bedroom, and it's half the cost of an apartment. And people are eating them up. And these are big buildings. They're not like rehabbed old mansions, right? These are building them from ground up, and they're selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting times. I mean, you think about it. You can now, in select markets, Amazon, you can give Amazon a key to your house, and they can drop your packages inside your door or leave it in your car.
Yeah.
I mean,
and with security cameras, why wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't you let people look at your house if you have security cameras everywhere? You wouldn't care. You wouldn't. So they're, if they do something, you're going to see them. It's not like you really need the agent there to stand over them and make sure they don't ruffle through the medicine cabinet, because in 5 years you'll have a camera in there. If your house is for sale, the realtor will bring you a camera to put in all of them.
Yeah, I think who knows what's gonna happen, but I do think one thing is clear is things are continuing to progress and change, and we're gonna have to adapt as realtors, right, and as real estate professionals, and really as consumers too, as buyers and sellers of homes. Everything is being completely transformed. It just makes me wonder, like, what's going to happen 2, 3, 5 years down the road from today. I think we're in for some pretty cool stuff, and I think we're probably going to, at a certain point, look back and think, gosh, if I never would have thought this could have happened to the home buying and home selling process. We get 5, 10 years down the road.
So I got a question for you, Kevin.
Yeah.
This has to do with, what some would consider morally right or, against the code of ethics for NAR, or with the code of ethics, or something agents should do, or what, there's all these unwritten rules. So what's happening now, as with all these new companies, right? So many new companies, more new companies than ever before in history of real estate, right? So Compass is coming in with all this money, right, that they've raised, and they're buying agents, and that's fine, right? That's their prerogative. They're allowed to do that, right? It's their business. They've got it figured out how they're going to get their money back. I don't know what it is, but they're going to figure it out. They've obviously smart people working there, I would hope. And then, so what's happening is, so they're going into these small brokerages, right? Smaller brokerages. They'll say, hey, we want to buy you. And of course, when everybody says we want to buy you, they're like, I'm open-minded. So they go in there, they sign a non-disclosure, they open up the books, they show them who their top agents are, how much their agents are making in commissions, who's selling what, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, all this stuff you can get anyways from broker metrics, right? So it's not like it was necessarily proprietary. Maybe they're split. Maybe the agent split was, you wouldn't find it on broker metrics. The agent on an 80-20 or 90-10. I guess that's not on broker metrics. Anyway, so they went in, 3 different companies they did this to: Benoit, Meisner, Simon, Zephyr Real Estate, and a company called Modern Spaces, I think, out of San Francisco. And anyways, they went in, they did it, and the freaking, they offered them something, and at some point they're like, nah, that's not enough, or we don't like the deal, or whatever it was. Fell apart. And then Compass goes, okay, well, screw you, I'll just take your agents then. So then they go out and they recruit their agents with big fat bonuses and pay it to the agents rather than the broker. So there's a big question there, and that is, is this the new reality? Is this cool to do? What's your opinion on this?
It's interesting because there's a little bit of that left at the altar feeling that those companies have. I think they felt like they had a deal, which obviously brings into question, were they negotiated in good faith? What was the deal? I think the fact that companies, whether we're talking about Compass or not, have been buying agents of book of business for quite some time. Like that's been a practice. I've certainly been offered my fair share of money to change firms and to stay at firms, et cetera. So that's been around. I don't really have a problem with that. I think, though, the fact that it's now happened a couple times, there's at least 3 different companies that have said, hey, this doesn't feel good. Who knows if they're just mad because they didn't get the deal done. And so Compass, we don't really know, right? Maybe Compass just said, fine, if you guys are being difficult to work with, I'll just go to your agent. I mean, I've certainly seen that before where a broker owner feels like they've got certain rights to things more so than maybe they're a little more proud of what they have than maybe what they should be. I've seen that happen before. And so maybe the Compass in these cases just said, you know what, let's go to the agents. That's really where the business is anyway. We all know that it's the agents that drive the business. I don't care what brokerage we're talking about. And even Compass realizes that. And so they just said, I'll just give them the money. And then we know people, because a certain number of people will follow them, right? So why not just give the money to the agent?
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you can think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox, and it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
The strategy I would think is go to the agent first.
Yep.
And then be like, we got Kevin Kauffman, right? Which is maybe whatever, let's say 5% of their company. You guys want to sell, and if you don't, we're going to go after the rest. I mean, it just sounds like arbitrage, right? It sounds like, you know what I mean? It's kind of, and I'm not saying that this was their intent or this is how they're doing it or should do it, but it's the reality, right? I mean, if the business is that aggressive and recruiting is that aggressive right now, that's just the reality, right? As a broker, you got to deal with the cards that you're dealt. I mean, that, right? I mean, or tell me, is this wrong? Is this like, no, we should, as realtors, we should not treat each other like this. We shouldn't be that aggressive in trying to break up brokerages or recruit that hard.
Well, I think that ship sailed. I think that's just been the reality of our business for a long time. I think the real question here is, did Compass negotiate in good faith, or did they kind of appear like they were so that way they could get the information they felt they needed to value what their offer should be? I think that's the real question. And you know what? You and I, nobody's ever going to know except for the parties involved.
They probably weren't good. I mean, it probably wasn't good faith. There probably wasn't any sneaky business about it, right? There probably wasn't any funny. I'm sure they intended to buy these brokerages could they get the deals done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously they did attempt to do that first. So I guess it was honorable in that sense that they at least attempted that first, right? I mean, that's how I would look at it. And yeah, and good luck proving that they were diabolical about it, because it probably can't be proven.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I had some conversations very on the outside edges with Compass, very preliminary when I was exploring brokerages about a little more than a year ago. And but I've got some other friends that really got some deep conversations in with Compass. And, they had nothing but good things to say about that team over there. And so I don't have any reason to believe that they did anything mean or malicious on purpose. And who knows, maybe they did. But based on what I've heard about that executive team at Compass from people who know them personally, my assumption is they probably weren't acting maliciously, but, we'll never know.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, right, I heard a quote on, this was about other companies, but it's really, if you've got the money, it's hard to compete with these companies that got the money as a brokerage. It just really is. They're going to offer your agent $100,000 or $500,000 or stock options or whatever. I mean, that's today's reality. You know what I mean? Either you can do that, or maybe you shouldn't, run your budget so tight, I mean, or be worried about losing them. It is what it is, right?
No doubt. Well, Pat, I think I've had a lot of fun, man. These are some pretty cool things. I think there's a whole lot more. I bet you and I could probably talk about news for a couple more hours.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, we'll be back next week, guys. We'll be back, once a week. This will be on Facebook on Next Level Agents. And guys, if you aren't a member of Next Level Agents, you need to jump on there, lickety split. It is the hottest Facebook group out there. And we're posting it on there. And then we're also posting it in a recorded version on Real Estate Rockstars. So if you're not listening to Real Estate Rockstars every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, this comes out on the Wednesday show. And Kevin, let's give props to some of these news media sources that we're getting all of our ideas and subjects from.
Yeah, absolutely. So Housing Wire, I mentioned earlier, as a tech award that they gave to the Notarized company, they were definitely a source of information for us, both on the Nick Bailey story as well as the Redfin story. I think we all know Inman News is one of the foremost leaders when it comes to what's going on in the real estate world. And you and I certainly did our research there on Inman as well and talked to a few folks over there. So between Housing Wire and Inman News, I know they provided a ton of information to us.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And if you're not getting Inman, you should subscribe to both of those. Do you have to subscribe to Housing Wire?
Housing Wire has an option like that, but most of their stories are free. You just got to sometimes make a few extra clicks to get past some of the stuff.
Pay for the Inman upgrade. It's definitely worth it. I get some news articles from a free email called The Real Daily. You guys should check that out. But yeah, I think that's where most of them came from today. So that, and of course our personal experience in the business. So anyways, Kevin, best of luck to you, and I can't wait to jump back on this next week.
Absolutely, Pat. Hey, man, have a great day. Next Level Agents, Real Estate Rockstars, you guys go out and have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Welcome, Rockstar Nation. Thanks for tuning into the State of the Market podcast with your host, Pat Hiban and Kevin Kauffman.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hiban. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.